Hello everyone, this is a simple elevator tutorial which can be controlled in multiple locations. So let's get started. Alright, so I have already went ahead and made two blueprints. One is the elevator button to control the elevator, and the other one is the elevator itself. So let's go ahead and open up the elevator itself. And inside here, I went ahead and made just a static mesh platform, a and two arrow components. The first one is zeroed out on 000, and then the second one will be to control how high your elevator goes. So you can set this however high you want, but I'm going to set it to 1000 on the Z, just like so. So that goes up there. And then compile and save this, and then that's all we're going to do in the elevator for now. Alright, so back in your content browser, go ahead and open up the button this time, and I have went ahead and created another static mesh, which is just in the shape of a little box, and then I made a box collision, and that's all we need for the button. So we're actually going to start off in the button, and we're going to start off making some variables we need. We will need 3 booleans, and the first one will be called button on elevator, and then go right here, click the little eyeball right there, and then this next one will be called top, and click the little eyeball again, and then this one will be called overlapping, and nothing needs to be changed on it. So now we will need 2 more variables. This will be called elevator, and it will be of type actor, just like so, right over here. And then we will need another one, and this will be called elevator reference, and it will be of type BP elevator, right here. Also, elevator will need to be checked on the little eyeball, so do not forget that. And then compile and save, and now we can move on to the event graph. So starting off, we can remove these 3 nodes right here, highlight your box, and get your 2 overlap events for the box, for the collision. And now what we want to do is cast off of both of these to the first person character, or whatever character you're in. And then we want to set overlapping right after this to true up here, and on this one down here set it to, whoops, this one down here set it to false, just like that. And then copy and paste your cast, bring it round down here, hook it up, and then after this we need to get player controller, and then also search for enable input and disable input, and then hook those up just like so. Drag player controller into the player controller on both of them, and then hook this one up. And now that should be it for this top section. So make sure you compile and save, and then we're going to come down here and search for keyboard E, and on this you can set it to whatever key you want to, but drag out your overlapping, do get, and then grab a branch, hook overlapping up, and connect it to on pressed, and then check your elevator, drag it out, get elevator, drag off of it, and do is valid, and you want to select the one with the question mark, drag that off of true, and then off of elevator do cast to BP elevator right here. You won't have multiple of them, I just have extras. And connect that up. And then off of this, drag and drop your elevator reference right here on this pin. And then off of this, drag button on elevator out and do get, add a branch, connect it up, and then on FOSS, we will head to the FOSS path first, drag top, get top, branch, and then FOSS, and then drag out our elevator reference, just like so. And there's two functions that we haven't made yet that we can make real quick. So bounce right back over to your elevator right over here, open it up, delete these three like always, and then do add custom event, and then name this one raise elevator, and then do another custom event and title this one lower elevator, just like so. Compile and save, and head back to your elevator button right over here, and we are going to call those functions. So type in raise elevator and connect this up to true, and then drag off of here and do lower elevator and connect this up to false, just like so. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is the true path. So drag in your elevator reference, just like so. And there is another variable we need to set up real quick in our elevator. So come on over to the elevator, add variable, and name this at bottom, just like so. Compile and save. Head back over here and do get at bottom, like that. Connect this up to a branch. And then on the true path, we are going to call the raise elevator off of our elevator variable we have. And on the false path, we are going to call lower elevator, just like that. And make sure you hook your branch up, just like that. Compile and save, and our button is now completed. Alright, just like in our button, we are going to start with variables, and the first one you're going to want to need is called button on elevator, and as you could assume, this is our reference to the button that's actually on the elevator, and this is going to be type actor, just for simplicity, and then compile save, and we will need one more optional variable, which will be speed, and this will be of type float, and hit the eyeball on both of these like so. You don't have to have speed because you can set the value in the blueprint. This just allows you to make easy adjustments to the speed. Alright, we need to make two more functions, and these I'm going to go ahead and make in the actual function right here. So the first one is going to be called elevator raise loop, and then the second one is going to be elevator lower loop, and then compile and save. And as you might have guessed, those two functions are the ones that are going to be called over and over again to actually raise and lower our elevator. So next up, before we head into functions, go ahead and right click and do event begin play, just like so. And then off of this, check button is on elevator is valid. It's the one with the question mark. Hook that up to the begin play. And then off of the is valid, do attach actor to component, just like so. Make sure it's 2 component and not 2 actor. And then drag in your platform right up here. Drag it on in. Hook this up to the parent. And then hook up button on elevator to the target. And then check all of these to keep world. As you can see here, keep world on all 3 of these. And then compile and save, and now we can move on to our functions. So the first function we're going to do is the raise elevator call. So drag in your speed, just like so, and drag off of raise elevator and do set timer by function name, just like so. Plug in your speed, and now right here in the function name, we need to type elevator raise loop exactly how it is right here. And the best way to do that is to click your function inside the actual function, copy and paste this name right here, come back over here and paste it on in there. And you may have to remove spaces, you may not, depending on if it added spaces for you, which is no big deal. And then go ahead and check looping, just like so. Now we need to do the same exact thing on the lower elevator. So do set timer by function name. And this time I'll just type it out to show you what it actually looks like unchanged. So it just really depends on if right here it added spaces, then add space in yours. If it didn't add spaces, then don't add spaces. But if you're unsure, you can always come in here, click the name, remove the spaces, just like so. Head back to your event graph, compile and save, and then remove your spaces here, depending on if you added them or not. It's just that simple. Alright, so now hook up your speed to the lower and check that to looping, and then compile and save, and then that is all we have to do inside of our event graph. We can now head on to the actual functions themselves. So the first function we're going to go into is our elevator raise loop. Go ahead and drag in our platform and do get relative location, just like so, and then right click, split this, and then off of this platform, drag off again and do set relative location right here. Connect these up, and then again split it on that, and then off of this on the Z, add a float. Only add one because we want small movements that happen really fast, so it appears smoother than it actually is. So connect that up, and then we will have to drag in our platform once again, and then drag in top stop, because again this is our raise loop, and on here we want to do get relative location on both of these, just like so, and then split both of these, just like so. Make yourself a little bit of room. And what these top stops do is they allow us to dynamically increase the range by just moving where these arrows are over here. So I can adjust the height of this and make it go way up, and then the elevator will go way up with it. So now we have to detect if we are actually above it. So do drag off of your location Z and do greater than or equal to, and hook your other Z up to that, and then hold down B and left click, bring in a branch, and then hook this up to your main line. And also, if we are in line with it, then what we want to do is we want to actually clear timer by function name, and we want to clear this timer elevator raise loop because we want to stop raising. So just type in elevator raise loop, and once again you can just copy and paste, but sometimes it adds spaces, so it can be a hassle. Just be careful on that. So go ahead and compile and save, and now we can go ahead and head on over to our elevator lower loop, which is essentially the same thing, except there's a few minor changes. So we can honestly head back to our raise loop and drag and copy all of this that's in our raise loop, come over into our lower loop, paste it, connect this up, and we are basically done, except we have a few minor changes. We have to delete this first +1 right here, and as you guessed, since we're lowering, we have to do -1, just like so. And instead of top stop, delete that and do bottom stop, just like so. And instead of greater than or equal to, delete that and do less than or equal to, just like so, and hook that up. And we are done with the elevator lower loop. So go ahead and compile and save. Alright, so now we need to set our at bottoms. So on your elevator lower loop, add a set at bottom, and since it's lowering, we need to set this at bottom to true. And then on the raise loop, bring in another at bottom set and set this to false, like default, and then compile and save. Alright, all we need to do in the event graph is just go ahead and assign a default value to some of these. So we can go ahead and set speed to 0.05 is a good number. And depending on if your elevator is going to start on the bottom or start at the top, you need to set this to true or false, depending. So mine is going to start on the bottom, so go ahead and set that to true, compile and save, and now we can head on over to our main viewport. Alright, so now we can start dragging some stuff in. We can drag in our elevator and scale it up just a little bit. Not on the z-axis, just the x and y. And drag this up just a tad. And then we need to drag in 3 buttons as well. We need to drag in 1 to control the elevator down here, which just drag this up just a little bit. Then we need to bring in 1 to control the elevator up here. Bring in 1, drag it up just a little bit. And then we also need 1 more on the actual elevator itself, just like that. So now we need to go ahead and assign our values on the buttons. So is it the top button? No. Is it on the elevator? No. And on here, you need to click the little like drop down and search for your elevator right here and select that, and then do the same for this one. Click it. Is it top? No. Is it button on elevator? Yes. And then click the drop down and search for your elevator. And then we gotta do that once again up here on our top one. Is it top? Yes. Elevator? No. And search for your elevator. And one last time on the elevator itself, we have to do button on elevator. So this one can be a little tricky. So select this one, search for its name. Mine is elevator button 3. Go back to reselect your elevator, and then search for the elevator button 3 right here. And then we can also adjust the speed right here, and as well as our top stop and bottom stop. As you can see, our top stop may be a little too high, so you can select it right here in this little viewport. drag it down just a hair, and now it's lined up with our platform a little bit better. Alright, so now that we have all our stuff set, we can go ahead and play and test it out. If we step up on the elevator, we can hit the button and go up, and we go up until we hit the arrow, and then it stops. We can hop off. This little gap is just because I put it too far away. And if we hit this button, it glitches a little bit, but that's a slight fix. It takes a couple more branches, which is really simple to fix. You should be able to figure out on your own, which it's no big deal either. But if we head back down here, we can hit this button, and we can call the elevator back down to us, and then it will stop right on the floor, and then we can go back up and just do an endless loop. Alright, well, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked, leave a like. If you thought this was useful, consider subscribing for more videos like this one, and I will see you later. Bye.